Hey, in this video I'm going to show you how to create an amortization calculator. In the last video I showed you how to create a rental property calculator, and this is going to be able to be combined with that so you can see how much principal pay down you're getting each year. So the first thing we're going to want to do is create a box to describe our purchase. So we're going to have the purchase price, we're going to have the down payment, loan amount, and the interest rate. So the purchase price and the down payment are both going to be percentages, and then the loan amount and the purchase price are going to both be dollar values. So for the sake of this example, let's do a $250,000 purchase price with a 20% down payment. So to get the loan amount for that, you're just going to take the purchase price multiplied by 1 minus the down payment percentage. That'll just give you 80% of the purchase price as the loan amount. And the interest rate, I'm just going to use 7. So to create your amortization table, the next step is going to be creating this is going to denote the number that we are in the sequence. So this will be like number 1, 2, 3 as far as your payments go. The other thing that you're going to need here is the term. I'm going to put 360, and that's because there are 360 months in 30 years, and we need the months, not the years, for the term. So let's move that down a couple spaces, and then we'll have the starting balance, and that's the starting balance not for the loan but for this specific term. So for one, the starting balance is going to be $250,000, but I'll show you that in a second. So the next thing that we're going to need is our payment. Then we're going to actually, you know what, we can calculate our payment over here, and then we can just have our principal and interest here. Got to spell that correctly. And then our ending loan balance. And that's our ending loan balance for the term. Think of every month, your loan balance starts at one amount, and at the end of the month, after you've paid your loan, it's going to decrease by a little bit, whatever your principal payment is, that's part of your payment. So for this, we're going to want to type in equals sequence, and then the number of rows is going to be how many rows are actually in the table. And in this case, since there's going to be 360 payments, we want there to be 360 rows. The easiest way to get that is to go over here and click on the term, and then you're just going to hit the $sign on the C and the 6. That's just going to keep that in the exact same location so it doesn't move, because we always want that number to be 360. Now the amount of columns, it's just 1 because it's just this number column that we're going to want to populate. And the start, we're going to start this at 1 because it's the first month through the 360th month. And the step, it's just going to increment by 1 at a time. So we just make that 1. You can see that goes all the way up to 360 now. And our starting balance is going to be equal to our loan amount. And if we want to calculate our payment really quick, that's going to be, I always type in minus PMT is equal to the interest rate divided by 12, because we want the monthly portion of that interest that you're going to be paying. The number of periods is 360. The present value is $200,000. The future value is 0 because over time the loan's going to pay down and it's going to head towards 0. And the end or beginning, we don't need that, so we can just leave it at this. And then we get $1,330.60 is going to be your monthly payment. So what we can do next is we can go over to the interest column and type in equals IPMT, and it's just like PMT, but instead of calculating the total payment, it's going to calculate the portion of the payment that is interest. So what you're going to do here is grab your interest rate again, and you are going to want that to stay the same, so that's why you put the $signs there and divide it by 12. The period, set that equal to 1. Number of periods, that's going to be 360 again. So we're just going to put the dollar signs there so that doesn't change. The present value is going to be equal to your starting balance. And our future value is going to be 0. So then we close that off, and there we go. So now if we take our payment, and you're going to make that stay the same, and then subtract, well, in this case, add the interest that you're paying because it's a negative number. We're going to get $163.94. So in your first month of a $200,000 mortgage at 7%, you're going to pay $163.94 of your principal off. So that's where we'll take this, we'll set this ending loan balance by taking $200,000 and then subtracting the principal. All right, and once you have that, then you can go ahead and set that as the first row in the next column. And this is going to get much faster as we go. We just need to build out the first 2 rows really. And then in the next one, we're going to go ahead and populate some of the same information. So if we just drag this down, it should update here. All right, so the next thing we're going to want to do is drag this all the way down. And there's one other thing we're going to have to do that affects the end of the term, because at the end of the term you might not have an exact payment to pay off. So we'll see that in a second. So you can see here that it's $1,322.89, which is fine. What we want to make sure doesn't happen is that the payment shows up as more than that, but it actually looks like this is correct. The way I've fixed this in the past though is just saying that what you're paying is equal to the minimum, the maximum, of whatever this is, or 0, to make sure you get a non-negative number. But in this instance, it looks like it's working perfectly fine. So if you wanted to see how much interest you pay over the life of the loan, go ahead and put totals, and then you can sum this column if you wanted to. Looks like that's still an issue. Let's see here. Oh, it's because it's pulling in the letters too. So G9 through G368. So you can see that that's the $200,000 balance that's paid off, but then you can see you paid $279,000 in interest for a combined total cost over the life of your loan of $479,000 for a $200,000 loan. I'm going to provide a link so you can copy this directly into your own Google Drive, and you could even copy this page and you could put it into the rental property calculator that we created in the last video. And if you haven't seen that, there's going to be a card up in the top right for that. And let me know if you have any questions in the comments, or if there's any other things that you want to see me create in Google Sheets for you, or anything else. Thanks, and have a good one.